along with good climate, we have good soil. And if there's anyone that knows about our soils here in Arizona, it's you. There's a common saying that says we owe our existence literally to a 6-inch layer of topsoil and the fact that it rains. Well, that's for those states that get a lot of rain. We have to apply our water via irrigation. But it's a true statement. So talk about our soils, because I think there's a lack of knowledge on how robust our soils are.
Well, that's a good point. You know, a lot of times some folks will say we not only farm our soils, but we're farming the climate. And actually, it's true both ways. And interestingly enough, soils are a function of climate in terms of the way they evolve on the skin, this, like you say, 6-inch little epidermis on the surface of the earth from which we as human beings and most animals live from. And that evolution of that soil, the soil resources that we see out across the landscape are a function of what we say 5 basic factors, 5 basic soil forming factors, climate being one of them, that they evolve our parent material, or topography, or climate, the vegetation, we say the biota in general, because the animals and the plants together. All 4 of those factors operating together over time will evolve a unique soil condition. And that's pretty well established, you know, all around the world. But in Arizona, you see that these soils that we have that are evolving in this climate are very much a signature of that. And a lot of people think we have, you know, all we have is rock and sand out here in the desert, which we have plenty of that's for sure. But we have some beautiful soil resources, Julie, that are these alluvial soils formed from water formations, primarily in the valleys of the southern parts of the state, all over the state, but the southern half of the state below the Mogollon Rim is most pronounced, what we call the Basin and Range, and the high mountain, intermountain valleys of the southeast. But these alluvial valleys have these nice deposits of sediments that have been evolved and weathered and then deposited in these valleys over time, and that's where we're farming. And so when we have these resources in Arizona, they're a function of that climate to some extent, the parent material, that topography and everything, that the desert environment they evolved in. But they have these beautiful resources that are highly fertile. They're highly productive if they are managed properly. And they have tremendous, resiliency and staying power. But the one thing about them are desert soils. So part of that climate is they're going to be high in salt content just naturally. And so they need to be reclaimed from salt and oftentimes from sodium, high sodium concentrations as well. But that's inherent with climate, with the desert conditions.
Rosie on the house, every Arizona homeowner's best friend.